It attracts students with stellar character and unmatched leadership abilities, students who hear much more than the divine Noach voice of Asay L'cha, do this, just this, do this just for yourself. YCT has placed close to 100 rabbis who are transforming the Orthodox community, the Jewish community, and the world. Rabbis who have heard the call of Lech Lecha. Rabbis spreading throughout the world, from Los Angeles to New York to Nairobi, calling out in the name of God. And it is now to be led by Rabbi Lopatin. In our brief time working together, I have been moved by Rav Asher's frumkeit, by the depth of his learning, his sincerity, and his passion. But most of all, I am inspired by his ability to hear the insistent call of Lech Lecha, to see all the ways we are being called upon to help the world, to help Klal Yisrael, to help the Orthodox community, to help every individual. Every day, Rav Asher speaks to me about yet another initiative, another way YCT can make a difference. Every day Rav Asher is finding new ways to Vayikra b'Shem Hashem, to call out in the name of God. May we be zoche, under Rav Asher's leadership and in all of our future work, to always be able to hear the ever-present voice that goes out to all people at all times. Lech Lecha.
It has grown from a startup institution, which many predicted had no chance of survival, much less a chance of success, to one of the premier rabbinical training schools in the United States. YCT has now graduated more than 90 rabbis, a stunning 97% of whom are serving Klal Yisrael as rabbis. They are in pulpits around the country. They are hospital chaplains. They teach or run, let me emphasize that word, run, Jewish day schools around the country. They are in college campuses, and they hold important positions in many of the key national Jewish organizations throughout the country. And YCT is growing, whereas for many years class sizes averaged 5 to 8 students. Our incoming class last year was 14, and this year we have 12. And we are confident that we can increase those numbers even further. Rav Asher, you are and will be a voice of tolerance, of spiritual generosity, and of wisdom in leading this institution into the future. Rav Asher, on behalf of the Board of Directors of YCT, I confirm your induction as of July 1st, 2013, and welcome you as President of YCT. Rabbi Weiss is the visionary founder of YCT, a man of warmth, balanced by piercing intellect, a man of vision and a man of action, a man who teaches us by his every breath how to live our lives. He may not tell you this, but I'll tell you where he was the last 2 days. On Wednesday evening, he learned that a dear friend of his, a founding board member of YCT, was gravely ill in Israel. He got on a plane on Thursday. He visited that man. He slept in the hospital. After Shabbos, he got on a plane and he came here. With all the things he had to think about for this installation, that's what he did. 14 years ago, Rabbi Weiss saw a need in the Jewish community for an institution that would create open Orthodox rabbis, and he created from scratch an institution that has been successful beyond anybody's wildest imagination. The Pew Research Organization recently reported that 2/3 of Jews who characterize themselves as having no religion are not raising their children as Jewish in any way, but over 93% of Jews who say they have religion are raising their children to have a Jewish identity. It is therefore critically important that there be rabbis, many, many rabbis, with knowledge, the training, and the understanding to reach out to all Jews and to embrace them. Rabbi Weiss, through his 14 years of spectacular, groundbreaking work at YCT, has done more than anyone else that I know to do just that. I ask you to join me in welcoming to the podium Harav Avi Weiss, the founding president of YCT.
In Tefillah for Eretz Yisrael, Medinat Yisrael, and that Chayalei Tzva Haganah Yisrael and American troops in harm's way come home safely. In prayer, that our friend Stuart Harris, who has meant so much to Chovevei Torah, even as he struggles between life and death, that God always be with him and protect him. And in gratitude to God for having allowed me to experience one of the most joyous days, one of the happiest days of my life, a day in which it is clear that Chovevei Torah is not a dream passing in the night. No. Rather, Chovevei Torah is here to stay, Bezrat Hashem, for a long, long, long time to come. Establishing a new institution involves 3 major steps. The first step is its founding. This requires a leap of faith, as it often involves pushing against the tide, risk, criticism, and pushback. The second step is transformation. All new ideas, organizations, and institutions are responses to a need. But if a mission remains reactive, it will not last, as nothing reactive endures. What is critically necessary is to transform that mission from being reactive to being proactive. The third step is succession. The challenge of moving beyond the founding stage. It is not uncommon for new organizations, for new institutions, to die with their founders. Transcending this founding stage is the real test of institutional building. Dvar Torah has gone through this founding, transformation, succession process, what I call FTS, founding, transformation, and succession. Its founding, and endless thanks to Debbie and Howard Jonas. Its founding was joyous, but at times deeply and powerfully painful. Its transformation into a proactive, mission-driven school, not looking over its shoulders, but moving forward, recruiting, training students, not only to serve in synagogues and in hillels and rabbis of hospitals and schools, not only modern and open Orthodox schools, but community schools, but to be rabbis and spiritual leaders in major national organizations, is a testament to the jewels of our institution, our glorious students, and especially as well, its faculty and supporters. Today, we celebrate its third step, the one which is critical to institutional building, succession. It could not, it would not have happened the way it happened, this quickly and this smoothly, without you, Chip, and without you, Dawn, and Al, and the entire Jim Joseph Foundation, and we are eternally grateful. And it would not have happened without the man who partnering with our unparalleled Rosh HaYeshiva, Rabbi Dov Linzer, and the whole of the Chovevei faculty and family. It would not have happened without the man, Rabbi Lopatin, who will take YCT to new heights. Indeed, if the test of success is who succeeds you, this is my finest moment. Since you've come to Chovevei, and it's been just a few months, I've seen you up close, and you're more than I ever dreamt. The image of you, Asher, that I have now seen many times as a father, sitting lovingly near your children. The image of you, Rav Asher, as you genuinely, graciously, and gracefully engage people of all backgrounds, affiliations, and commitments. The image of you, Rav Asher, navigating the complicated terrain of reaching out to the Orthodox community from the right to the left, and more broadly, the whole of the Jewish community, and Pastor, you would agree, well beyond the Jewish community. The image of you, Asher, new to the position, together with our chairman extraordinaire, who really deserves a shout out, seamlessly leading board meetings and connecting with potential supporters. Asher, you've got it all. Family values, the ability to relate, the brilliance to shape Chovevei's ever-evolving mission, the capacity to lead. And you do it all with such self-effacement, as the Talmud teaches, in the place of real greatness, there is humility. B'makom gadluto, sham anvitanuto. And so, I offer you my blessings. My blessings of two words we recite every day. In the daily brachot, we say the words, Asher Kiddishani, which literally means, who has sanctified us. When we decided that Rav Asher would become the next president, I must say that when I read these two words, I read them a little differently. I read it literally, Asher Kiddishanu. In the spirit of the Mitatio Dei, Rabbi Asher will inspire the sanctification of our people. This is my blessing, that all that you do, Asher, be a blessing for sanctification, that you continue to lead Dvar Torah in a way that halacha is not an end unto itself, but rather that it be a conduit, a means to living a life of kedusha, of holiness, that you continue to cultivate as only you can a spirit of a loving family within Chovevei that is suffused with the emanations of kedusha, of holiness, that you continue to inspire Chovevei students as you've inspired thousands over your many years in the rabbinate to be the best that they can be, always dreaming, always reaching for kedusha, for holiness, La'ela u'la'ela, higher and higher. That they be Orthodox rabbis who are not only rabbis for Orthodox Jews, but are rabbis for all of Am Yisrael, and for that matter, for all people. Because, friends, people today are seeking meaning. People are seeking spiritual meaning. The words of the prophets are coming true. Hinei yamim ba'im, behold, the days are coming. And there will come a time when people will be hungry and will be thirsty, lishmoa et divrei Hashem, to hear the words of the Lord. All that these wonderful people need are spiritual leaders to deliver that holy message. With these blessings upon my heart, I presented to you the writings of the Sfat Emet, whose most basic message is one you embrace. And this is his message. B'chol davar yesh mitudat chayut me'Hashem yitbarech. In everything and in everyone, There is a point of vibrancy, of life strength that comes from the Lord. That is, everyone has a spark of goodness. Everyone has a spark of godliness, an ember. All that ember needs is a spiritual leader to light the fire, the ultimate challenge of the rabbinate. We're so blessed to have you, Rav Asher, guiding Yeshivat Chovevei Torah, training spiritual leaders to fan those embers into fiery souls. And in that spirit, if I could ask everyone to please rise. May you be blessed, Rav Asher Kitishanu, to feel the radiance of God's holy light.
We want you to think, learn Litvish, according to the Lithuanian analytic style. We want you to daven Hasidish. We want you to act Musarish and teach your students how to act interpersonal in a great way. We would love to finally have a Jewish leader that would act normalish. All this can be done with your brilliance, with your instinctual, with your gut feelings, with your sheer guts that you have. We know that what has been created will have Dvar Torah to rebuild Torah in all of its glory can take place in this yeshiva that you've now taken part of. The yeshiva belongs to you. You're no longer Rav Asher. You're Rabbeinu Asher. You've grown up into this. You're our master. We are ready to follow. Mazel tov to all of us and all power. This is your podium. We need to hear from you.
Landis, Avi, my Rosh Hashiva, Windsor, chairman of our board, and good friend and mentor, Steve Lieberman. My wonderful friend, Rabbi J. Moses, always instructs the bride and groom when they're standing under the chuppah to look around the room and take it all in. Thank God I'm already married to my incredible and beautiful wife, Rachel. But in a sense, this moment is a little bit like a wedding. Married to an incredible and beautiful institution. So I'm looking around and I'm breathing deeply, and I hope everyone is doing the same at this moment. I can't tell you how much I loved my experience as a rabbi at Anshe Shalom for 18 years, but and we had a wonderful send-off, but never had an installation at my shul. And now I understand it's amazing, but it's so humbling. And it's so difficult to think that anyone can stand up to this incredible praise. But I want to be grateful. And I am grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to God, who has brought us all here. And I know is right here with us, celebrating with us, as it were. And I'm so grateful to Rachel and Shayna and Kara and Judah and Gideon, who have allowed Hashem to bring me here. And I'm grateful to my entire family for their love and support, my blood, and to all my friends and everyone here. We are all so grateful to an incredible founder, an incredible dreamer, a person who can turn with God's help, and has turned with God's help a dream into something concrete and real. A rabbi with infinite courage, trust, and love. Rabbi YCT. And of course, I'm grateful to Toby and to Dove and the entire family. It's a difficult position, as one of my friends mentioned, to be the president with a Rosh Hashiva like a Rav Linzer, to be in some ways, I don't want to say the boss of the Rosh Hashiva, but it's a difficult position. But I must say, with Linzer, you have inspired me, you have taught me, you continue to teach me. And I am so grateful. Rachel and I met you with Dvar and your kids in Chicago before you even started here. And I am so excited to begin this position, to be mentored and led by you. And as Rabbi mentioned, and so many have mentioned, the incredible Rabbi at Dvar Torah, our faculty, women and men, our students, our musmachim, over 90 musmachim around the world. And I'm also humbled by our incredible staff, the rabbis and Rabbi at the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale, and Rav Shmuel Hain of the Young Israel of North Riverdale. And everyone in this room, you are people Rachel and I learned from, admire, cherish through the years, or you are amazing people that we look forward to getting to know and admire in the years ahead. And may Hashem only give us more opportunities to come together to celebrate at Smachot. So as our daughter Shana says frequently in imitating me, let's learn Torah! And that's the vision of Yeshivat Chovei Torah, of our open and modern Orthodox yeshiva. Take Torah and learn it everywhere. Teach it everywhere. Share it. Grow together with it. Everywhere. That's not left or right. It's not Litvish or Hasidish, normalish. It's not the exclusive idea of any denomination or community. It's basic Yiddishkeit. It's our collective Jewish vision. At Yeshivat Chovei Torah, we have always and will continue to take this vision and instill it in our Talmidim, our students, so that we produce Orthodox rabbis who can't wait to open the doors of the yeshiva and burst into the world. Rabbis who are open to the world, caring about Jews and Gentiles and every creature of God. Orthodox rabbis who are at their core mentioned. Students who can bring Torah everywhere in this world and can learn from the world at the same time. And that Torah might be in a hospital in Los Angeles or Haifa, supervising Jewish or Christian or Muslim clergy. The Torah might go to a shul in New Jersey or Helsinki. We mentioned Nairobi so many times, so we're going to Helsinki or New Orleans or a new community in Seattle or an old restored community in Baltimore. Maybe a school that is traditional or Orthodox or pluralistic. A Jewish camp in Hungary or a Jewish farm in San Diego. A conference in Davos, Switzerland or at the White House. Or a minyan for Rosh Hashanah at Rikers Island Penitentiary. Or a senior living center in any community where one of our students sits patiently with an elderly gentleman to hear their story and to learn Torah from their lives. Torah cannot be trapped. It must be brought out released to the world. Torah wants to be free and open and enjoyed by everyone. Yes, parts of our lives are private and need to be nurtured and protected and held tight and close. But Torah is powerful. It's fire. Behold, Barikaish. It never becomes impure. And Torah can withstand the challenges of the modern world and the postmodern world, as the Sridei Eish has written, as Mark Shapiro said. It thrives when it's released and shared and struggled with and questioned. Our divinely revealed Torah grows by opening up the Torah discussion. And we discover more and more in every generation what Hashem was really saying at Sinai so many years ago. The Torah finds itself when it's opened up. So, as I look at the Sfat Emet, which was quoted by our Rosh Hashiva, and which Rabbi Weiss so wisely chose to entrust to me for my care and learning, take a look at what the Ger Rebbe says on this week's Parsha. Say Teva. The Torah says, get out of the ark. Go out of the ark. And the Sfat Emet quotes the pasuk, Hotsia mimasger nafshi lodot et shimcha. Free my soul from the prison. Mimasger. Lahodot et shimcha, to praise and thank your name. And the Sfat Emet says, Ki aguf u'malbush asiya mechase or neshama v'pnimiyut. The physical body, the clothing and Art, please, Rabbi Art, forgive me. We have all these experts on Sfat Emet, but you'll speak to Rabbi Art Green afterwards, or to Kranzler, or to Rabbi, or all the experts on Sfat Emet. But to me, it seems that Sfat Emet is saying, "Aguf u'malbush asiya, mechaser or neshama," that we have all these things that close us in, that block us in. Ach yesh zmanim sheniftachim asher b'shamayim, but then there are those times that the gates of heaven open, and then below the hearts of people can open up. People people that are working on the holy matters of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Torah should not be the thing that closes us in, that is closed. Torah should be the thing that opens us up, that opens the gate. Sheshit Yemei Amasa Yisagor. The gates of the temple were closed 6 days of the week. But on a day like Shabbat, they were opened. And that's a day that we have to celebrate every time we learn Torah. Torah needs to be opened. And that's the vision of our modern and open Orthodox yeshiva. But as Professor Mark Shapiro said, it's not just our yeshiva. There is that incredible model a century and a half ago in the Orthodox Berlin Seminary, founded by Rav Azriel Hildesheimer. And I had to have a little bit of fun because we have Rabbi Dr. David Ellenson, the expert in 19th century Orthodox German thinking and history. And we have the expert in 20th century Orthodox German thinking and history in Mark Shapiro. So, in front of both of you, let's talk about that Berlin Seminary, founded by Rav Azriel Hildesheimer. And I remember talking about this a long time ago, and Mark and I were in Oxford. In the back of the bus, we were arguing about this all the way from London to Oxford, and everyone, the British, were shushing us, and quiet. They couldn't stop us. So what does Professor Ellenson write about the Berlin Seminary? Let's listen for a second, and you'll see that Chovei Torah. Let's open up this book that I've been reading in shul. Sorry, last couple of days. beautiful book called by David Ellison, After Emancipation, Jewish Religious Responses to Modernity. Hildesheimer, Professor Ellison writes, was determined that graduates of his seminary not work in exclusively Orthodox institutions, but that they relate to the broader Jewish community as well. Graduates of the Rabbiner Seminar, in accordance with the philosophy of its founder, Hildesheimer, Rabbi, generally chose to serve as Orthodox rabbis within the structure of Einheitsgemeinden, unified communal organizations. Unified communal organizations. At Holy Torah, we are so excited to be producing committed Orthodox rabbis. But these are open, modern Orthodox rabbis that want to get out. They want to get out to the entire world. That don't want to be closed. That don't want to be sealed. That want to spread Torah everywhere because Torah is so incredible. How can we hold it back? And in fact, since I now I'm the trustee for the Sridei Eish, for the wonderful work of the last Rosh Hashiva of the Berlin Seminary, Rahil Yaakov Weinberg. Let me read for 1 minute from Volume 2. Just happen to have this. It is a very famous tshuva on Kol Isham, the voice of women, which actually has been recently supported even more by Rav Moshe Lichtenstein. You can read an article in Tradition magazine. Rav Aaron Soloveitchik used to quote this tshuva all the time. But I want to quote one part of it, where he talks, the Sridei Eish, talks about Yerdua Masha Siper Hagon Moreno Rav Yisrael Salanter. It's well known what the great giant of Musar, Rav Yisrael Salanter, Zitzal, said when he came back from Germany, B'shuvo me'Ashkenaz. The Sham Yizdamen, and there he spent a little bit of time in Germany. Imagon at Tzaddik Rav Israel Hildesheimer Zitzal. He spent some time with this great founder of the Berlin Seminary in the 19th century, Rav Israel Hildesheimer. V'ra'a oto martze shiurim, and he saw him giving classes which were not acceptable, would not have been acceptable, that kind of Torah to that audience back in Lithuania. And this is what Rav Yisrael Salanter said. And let's listen to this for courage. If one of the Lithuanian rabbis would teach this kind of Torah in this kind of way that's taught in Berlin, in Lithuania, they would fire him immediately. That's Rav Yisrael Salanter. But then he says, Mikol Makom, Halavai Sheyech Elki V'Gan Eden Imagaon Hatzadik Rav Israel Hildesheimer. Rav Salanter says, but he's doing the right thing. He's doing the right thing for his people and his place. And Halavai, would it be that my share in heaven would be like Rav Israel Hildesheimer? And those are the kind of rabbis that we have to produce. Rabbis who are willing to burst forth with Torah and say, this is Torah that needs to be shared. And we realize that there are other places and other locations which want to be a little bit more closed and Lithuanian in their style. But this Torah has to get out. And we need the courage to be open and orthodox and modern and deliver this Torah. Our yeshiva is called Yeshivat Chovevei Torah, lovers of Torah, bringing the love of Torah to a world of Jews that is waiting to learn and live Torah, to a world of Jews and non-Jews that needs Torah and the moral and spiritual guidance it provides. The Torah is not just for the Beit HaMidrash, for the study hall, nor the synagogue, nor just for the beautiful communities that we have built. Torah is for the communities and individuals who have yet to find Torah, or have yet to find a Torah that is meaningful to them, that they can integrate into their lives. 14 years ago at Limud in England, I was with Rabbi, and he was describing open orthodoxy and this open orthodox yeshiva he's planning to launch. It was an approach to Torah learning where everything can be discussed and debated, a place that was non-judgmental and loving and supportive of its students. Through Rav Avi and the founders of the yeshiva's vision, and the work of our Rebbeim and students and supporters, open orthodoxy has grown and deepened and is a reality throughout the world. And yet it continues to gain sustenance from the very deepest foundations of Judaism. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. The Torah goes out from Zion. Teitzei, v'teitzei, v'teitzei. Open up the floodgates. Open them up to a world that is asking for Torah. And for the Torah of all students, of every great place of Jewish learning throughout the world. Modern, open, confident in our tradition, committed to our Masoret, and ready for Torah to guide us in life. We open ourselves to the world, and we open the world to Torah. Because Hashem did create a universe that is open and ready for those who love Torah. A world that is open and ready for our yeshiva, Yeshivat Chovevei Torah.